This is open line talk radio. Anything you guys want to talk about is fair game. We don't pre-screen calls here, and that at times will be, in a comedic way, obvious that we don't. And at other times, it will bring on topics that you will not hear on other talk shows, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Wildcard line, you're on the air. Hello.
Art.
Yes.
Art Bell.
Yes.
Is it really you?
This really is me. What have I got now?
It's about time you answered my call.
You're a possessed person, aren't you?
How did you tell?
I can hear it in your voice. There's a part that gives you away.
You really are as smart as I thought you might be.
Excuse me.
I've always loved your laugh. It reminds me of my own.
Oh, my God, no. However, your laugh has quality. So you can actually have a sense of humor then, having possessed this poor person, whoever this person is.
Actually, he's a very good person. You would have liked to talk to you. All these phonies on the radio, Elvis, some 400-year-old guy.
Oh, God, I can't go on with this. That laugh. Give me that laugh one more time.
Art.
Yes.
Seriously, let's get to business. My host has a few questions for you.
Yes, you're a host.
Hold on.
All right.
Hello?
Yes, hello there. That I see that regurgitation was you returning.
Is this Art?
It is. Yeah, yes, it is.
You're kidding.
No.
You're pulling my leg.
I wouldn't pull your leg. Your buddy got you on the air. Now here you are.
I've been trying to get a hold of you.
I guess
for a
I
long
should
time,
officially inform you that you're on the air, since you might not be aware of that.
You spent a lot of time with that last guy, so I thought you might have a couple seconds.
Well,
I got you though.
I might.
Well, actually, I've been very privileged in my life. I'm 26 years old. I just got married last summer, August 5th.
Does your wife know that there's two of you?
Actually, I'm upstairs, and it depends on if she's awake or not, if the other side will show itself. Only at night when I'm up late listening to you.
Really?
Yeah.
When
I'm calling all the way from Canada.
I can tell that too. But when your other self does show, does your wife get to see it and experience it?
I don't think she ever has, and if she has, she hasn't told me in this form.
Oh, well, it may be just as well for you.
Well, probably. But I didn't call you about marriage counseling, Art.
Do me a favor and laugh.
In this form?
Sounds like a normal, almost normal laugh to me anyway. All right, good. All right, so you called for a special reason, right?
You betcha.
What is it?
Well, I've been privileged in my life to live in several places, the Middle East. I've been to the Caribbean to visit my folks where they live.
Yes.
And I've seen several UFOs. The earliest was when I was about 5 in Main Island, BC, on the Gulf Islands between Vancouver Island and Vancouver, the Lower Mainland, and Victoria, where I heard one of my fellow Canadians call in about the chemtrails, which a friend of mine, Rory, phoned, or I talked to him shortly after, and he said he's seen them several times, and they're still doing it.
We all know.
Yeah, and I'm always talking and spreading the word, coffee talk around the coffee shop where I work.
You mean about chemtrails?
About basically what was on last night on Art Bell. Art, I'm a big time fan. My buddies Paul and Richard are hopefully listening right now.
Are you referring to
I've been trying
Robert Bigelow last night?
Anything the night before is what we talk about at work, Art. So
I see. Oh, well, that's very flattering. I appreciate it. We're going to have to move on. Thank you. And I don't know if I ever care to meet your other self again. A spirit with a laugh like that. Uh-huh. Don't ever give up your body to anybody with a laugh like that. You've got a story for us, I guess.
Yes, this was during when we were still at war with Japan.
Yes.
This would have been about 43, 44. I can't remember what year it was. Sure, my uncle told me about it.
Right.
This was when we were still experimenting with the atom bomb. It wasn't perfected yet.
Right.
This was a contingency in case the atom bomb failed.
Ah.
And this was outside of Phoenix, Arizona, 21st Bomb Group under
Yes.
General Curtis LeMay.
Oh, yes.
Is using bats as bombs.
Wait a minute. You mean bats like bats that fly around at night?
Yes. They were experimenting because...
Bat bombs?
Yes.
How would you make a bat bomb?
Well, see, what they were going to do is take thousands of bats, and Japan was almost about 80% wood and wood products. And what they were going to do is sow incendiaries into these bats and drop them from B-29s over Japanese cities.
Drop bats from B-29s?
Yes, in cages. And what would happen at 2,500 feet, these cages would open up.
And the bats would fly out?
This would be during the day. And bats roost in crevices of buildings.
That's true.
And within 2 to 6 hours, these incendiaries would go off. And they would burn the city.
Oh, my God.
And my uncle told me that...
Oh, that's insidious.
That they had built in the desert outside of Phoenix a town similar to a Japanese city.
Yeah?
And they dropped these bats and it totally destroyed the town.
You're kidding. That's the
what he
damnedest
told
thing
me.
I've ever heard. So, what did they do? How did they get the incendiary stuff into the bat?
They would sew it onto the wings or onto the body. I'm not really sure.
Oh, man, that is an incendiary story, actually.
Yes.
Absolutely amazing. All right, Bill. Bill's bat bomb story. Man, that's incredible. Can you imagine that? Bats with incendiary devices sewn onto them or into them. You drop it. The cage opens at 2,500 feet. And it's true, of course, the buildings in Japan were mostly all wood, so they would nest, and then they would go off. And that was an alternative plan, says Bill, to the atom bomb, if it didn't work. That's incredible. West of the Rockies, Bill's bat bomb story. What do you think? Truth or trash?
Hi there.
Hello?
Yeah, it's truth. I've got the story in the book.
You've got the story?
Yes, I do.
So you know it to be true?
I know it to be true.
Now, I've heard a lot about World
I
War
even got
II.
a picture of one.
You do?
Yes, I do.
All right. Well, all right. Where are you?
I'm in Southern California, a place called El Paloma.
All right. Thank you very much. There's one who says truth. East of the Rockies, Bill's bat bomb story. What do you think?
I think it's true.
You think it's true, too?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're not saying that just based on what my last caller said?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Where are you?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Milwaukee. All right. Wild card line, you're on the air. Bill's bat bomb story. Truth or trash?
Art, I'm going to have to say it's true.
True.
Yeah, I read a book called The Environmental Wars, and they talked about something just like that. Crazy as it sounds,
That's absolutely amazing. All right. That's 3 in a row who say true. And so there you are, Bill. Every one of them says it is a true story.
Yes, it is a true story.
Wildcard line, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi, Art. This is Pamela in Seattle.
Hello, Pamela.
The only thing to worry about Y2K about is that people are addicted to electricity.
Well, they certainly are.
And it's not necessarily a good idea. You remember Mr. Hogue last night started out saying that we are addicted to this lifestyle of overextending ourselves, and the only way to save... Yeah, the only way to save the planet is to get back in touch with what's supposed to be.
Well, fat chance we're going to do that voluntarily.
Isn't that true? I took the news kicking and screaming myself. I refuse to admit that there's absolutely anything wrong with the way I see the world.
Yeah.
I think I'm a very healthy person, and to have to stop drinking was a real blow.
Oh, yes, I know.
Because I never misbehaved, Art. I never drank to excess.
Okay, I'm not going to keep talking about this with you. We've
I
done
know
enough. We have done enough talking about it. So you have two choices. I'm going to give them to you. All right?
Yeah.
One is you can continue to call the program and talk about other things, or you can not call the program anymore.
I told you, Art, I'm not doing this of my own free will.
Well, then I'm going to have to exercise my discretion as a talk show host, and when you start doing it, I'm going to take you off the air.
I know, Art. Nobody wants to talk about it.
Okay, well, bye. Yes, we have talked plenty about it. And I don't mind that you call, but to repetitively come in under cover of some other subject and then revert to that every single night, I will not tolerate. So you make up your own mind out there. If you want to contribute to the program, you're welcome to do it. If you are compulsively driven to talk only about your alcohol problem, then we're not going to continue with you. You make up your own mind, your choice. East of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Yeah, Art, that woman is hilarious.
Well, it's not hilarious. It's really kind of sad. I understand she's driven to do that, but I'm not going to have it night after night after night.
Yeah,
That's
I know
all there is
what you
to it.
I wonder if you're aware that in the scientific community, there's really no consensus about even what causes AIDS. This whole thing about the HIV virus being the cause of AIDS. And so therefore, we're worried about every little variation.
Well,
of it.
it
So
is certainly. Sir,
dubious.
pause for a second. It is very.
Yeah.
It is in question. There is controversy. I've had guests on the air here say HIV could no more cause AIDS than man in the moon. There's not enough of it, and all the rest of it. Dr. Duesberg, I had on. But the fact of the matter is that when all is said and done, the people who die and contract the opportunistic diseases that finally do them in have the HIV virus present.
Not all of them.
There are some people that have died of AIDS-like things, but the massive numbers of people dying, 60,000 last year, the great high majority of them had the HIV virus present.
But many people that have the virus never get sick.
My attitude, there are some that have not. My attitude is that drugs, as Duesberg has suggested, other lifestyle things, well, if you have this virus, probably come and get you much easier. In other words, if your immune system is already depressed, and you do things that depress your immune system even further, then you're probably going to die a lot faster. Whereas if you suddenly resurrect everything and stop the drugs and begin a good lifestyle and eat properly and get nutrition and exercise, blah, 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 then you can forestall the slow slide, inevitable, of the immune system. Make sense?
I think it very well could be a variety of factors, but I want to, I want to keep people from being too fearful of, about having normal relationships and a normal sex life, because at least so far, I don't know about this type E, but when you look at the statistical evidence, people don't get AIDS from casual sex. And I think you do a lot better. You do a lot better by being, as you said, not doing drugs, staying away from mainstream medicine. I think a lot of times people are getting sick not from AIDS, but from the AIDS drugs like AZT and so on. And
all right. Well, that's also, thank you, Dr. Duesberg's argument, and I buy into that one too. I'm not a big fan of AZT. AZT, according to Dr. Duesberg, is as much killer as AIDS. And he feels that AZT, when taken by somebody with a weakened immune system, shows a quick spike in T-cell count, and then a very, very quick downturn, and that AZT itself murders the immune system. Very controversial position, but it may well be the case. The immune system is something that tries to muster its defenses against whatever assault is underway. And so AZT itself, according to the doctor, assaults the immune system, producing a temporary spike or fight, which is then quickly overcome by both AZT and whatever effect there may be of AIDS. Dr. Duesberg probably wouldn't even include that. And the patient is killed. Now, I have no way of knowing if that is true. It's a great debate in the scientific community. However, I think you're well to make note of this apparent new strain of AIDS that is predominantly heterosexual. AIDS continues to change constantly. and we better keep after it, or one of these changes is going to be a change we're not going to like one bit. That's my attitude about it.
Hey, I have a story about being kind of abducted and...
Kind of abducted. All right, you're going to have to speak up good and loudly into your telephone.
I said the story is about being wiretapped.
Oh, wiretapped.
Right.
That's not the same as abducted.
No, it's not the same.
Although there are similar principles involved. It's just information in your voice there. So, were you wiretapped?
Well, see, I kind of think I was.
Kind of think.
Here's a situation. Here I'm driving down in this Ford Tempo.
Yeah.
You know, I was just going down the street, and all of a sudden I started hearing my voice come over the car radio.
Oh, that's bad.
See, I was just kind of listening to, you know, just a radio station, and all of a sudden I started hearing myself talking over the radio.
That's very bad. And the reason why it's bad is because you can easily put a transmitter in a car with a microphone. In fact, you can buy it at a lot of local little radio stores that will broadcast like Mr. Microphone on the AM band. So,
But the only problem is I never bought one of those things, and it was just kind of doing that.
Well, then you were being kind of tapped.
But see, the reason why I was kind of thinking maybe it was being abducted is because I was listening to a show where they're saying that aliens can kind of come down and put that in your car.
Uh-huh. Well, I guess they kind of could. But they don't kind of often do that. Aliens have more sophisticated methods. Is there any other earthly human motivation you can think of for anybody wanting to know what you would be saying in your car?
I don't know of any, but the situation was that night.
Are you working on a secret government project, perhaps?
No, I'm not. But
putting together missiles late at night?
No, I'm just regular.
Just regular, huh?
But see, the thing was, the night before that, I had this weird dream, and there were these white creatures hanging around me. And kind of I have flashpoints to that car, and that's what just totally startled me about it.
White creatures hanging around you. White creatures.
But that was only in a dream. I woke up, and the next day I did everything just fine. And then as I was driving down the road, it's kind of like a deja vu. All of a sudden, I hear myself over that radio.
There you were. Well, it happens to me all the time, although in my case I'm usually listening to a show that I just did a few hours earlier. Now, taking what you said seriously, I would discard the alien aspect, probably, of what you just said, and imagine a more earthly reason for what happened to you. But hearing your own voice on the radio, AM or FM, is always a very bad sign. My possessed timeline line. You're on the air.
Yes, I am from the future, and I am from the past.
Both?
Both. I've been to both, and now...
You're a traveling man.
Yes. Right now, what I need to say to everyone is some things that are going on right now on Earth. Now, first I ask, do you know what the frequency is? Have you heard the frequency? Say you're, out in the woods somewhere and it's totally quiet.
Yeah. And
you listen and you hear a frequency, or you're taking a bath with the door closed. You can hear a frequency. And what that is, it's recording. This frequency is recording everything that happens on this planet right now.
Wow.
They have super high-tech lights. They're lights that act as antenna they usually mount them in trees, or they can just mount them on your house or whatever. You can't see them. They're on a different wavelength. And that records everything that's happening, every thought that every person on this planet is thinking, everything. And in the future, you can review your past lives. So, like right now, you, Art, and me, we are reviewing our past lives at this time as we're talking.
Really?
Do you follow me?
I think.
Okay. And what else I need to say is that they're not only recording everything on this planet,
yes,
they're also controlling us. And like some other people, I do have a computer in my brain that allows me to hear these frequencies.
You too, huh?
Yes. They are the frequencies that I'm hearing.
You have a computer in your brain.
Yes. As a younger boy.
What was the name of the secret...
How fast can he think?
No.
Yes, I don't know anything about history.
You don't?
No, I'm not.
Damn. I was going to ask you a simple historical question.
Yeah, it's not that kind of
computer.
I mean, I'm not programmed.
Right. Okay,
with,
what does the computer do for you?
The computer is, well, okay, say you have a brain, and our brain is basically a computer, and we're only using like 7 or 9% of it.
Well, we know that to be true.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you add something to it, an implant or a computer implant or whatever you want to call it, they can and do access different parts of your brain.
But with so much capacity, so much storage, a simple little political U.S. question, and you're not ready for it.
Are you talking about the history?
Yeah.
Answering the history question?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, with that much storage, why not a little bit of history?
That's a good question. I don't know why. I mean, there's so much.
Well, there's a second thing you don't have an answer for.
There's so much, so much history. I mean,
what kind of lousy operating system are you being subjected to?
What would you like to know?
How often does it crash?
It never crashes.
It just eternally provides you with a mediocre stream of bits of yeses and nos?
Well, it enhances my own brain and activates different functions of my brain. As far as, you're asking remembering history and stuff, that's not something that I do. I'm not a history person.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Something just sent to me. I'll hold it up here in a minute so you can see it. Entitled, A Child's Memory of a Past Life is Confirmed. Geez, Art, it happened to me 2 days ago. Below is what I wrote to you that day. I was caring for my niece this morning, while my sister went to the hospital to have her second baby, expecting a boy this time. Lori, my niece, was sleeping when I arrived at my sister's home, and by the time Lori woke up, her mother had already left for the delivery room. Thinking that she might be a little scared that her mommy and daddy were not at home when she woke, I began explaining where they had gone. In the middle of my explanation, Lori stopped me. Keep in mind, Lori's 4.5 years old, and she said she hoped that, quote, Barbara would come home with Mommy and Daddy. Who's Barbara? I asked Lori. Oh, she said casually, Daddy and Barbara were my kids last time. I have more of these than I could even begin to tell you about. And tonight we have the lady coming on who will, I think, explain them to us. She has been documenting these for years, and there's no way that you cannot be interested in what a 2, 3, or 4-year-old child says about a prior life. Spoken casually, spoken not as a 2-year-old, but as an adult. This is serious evidence of reincarnation. This is really serious evidence of reincarnation.
Hi. This is Angel Eyes.
Angel.
Well, Art, have a real interesting story for you this morning. I have a 50-gallon fish tank, aquarium in my living room here.
Right.
And it's all fresh water. I have, goldfish and a couple of betas and some neon tetras.
Yes, I know about those, yes.
And they're real pretty. And, I go fishing quite a bit here, about 5 miles from my house. There's a lake out here.
Mm-hmm.
And we catch a lot of these, it ranges, some catfish and stuff.
Sure.
And for more realism, I decided to put a catfish that I had caught that was approximately, 8 inches or so.
Pretty big.
Yeah. I decided to keep him just for the heck of it, for realism. I put him in the tank.
Right.
And thinking that they're algae eaters, they just eat garbage off the bottom.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were predators.
Yeah.
And, well, I have a Japanese fighting fish that is a small one. We call him Gigi, Gorgeous George, because he thinks he's so good-looking, you know.
A fish with ego, all right.
Yeah, and, well, we put him in, and about 2 hours later, guess what happened? The catfish we had just put in decided to suck down the fighting fish for dessert or dinner.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Probably very expensive, too.
Yeah, they are. They're about $20-25 a piece.
Figures, yeah.
And he couldn't go after my neon Tetris for $4, right? He had to go after the good one.
Yeah.
And, well, my wife and me were both sitting on the couch, and we had the light on in the aquarium, and we were watching this, much to my wife's horror.
I can imagine.
And I says, oh, my God, well, that's the end of that, you know?
Right, of course.
And about 30 minutes later, the catfish suddenly had a real funny look, and he just floated. He went to the top after a few minutes.
Belly up?
He went sideways, you know.
Yeah, no, fish go sideways, yeah.
And, me and my wife were just looking at that, and I says, well, I guess he couldn't take the shock of being transferred.
Yeah.
Well, his belly started to bulge a little bit, and it split wide open.
Oh, my goodness.
And guess what come out?
Your Japanese fighting fish.
Yes, sir. He
alive?
come out in one piece.
That's like Alien.
It's, you know.
That must have been truly disgusting to watch.
Yeah, it was. After the water, you know, we had to drain out most of the water for the blood.
What did he do? Eat his way out?
I guess he did.
Oh, that's disgusting, sir. All right, stand by. Let's find out what the panel thinks about this one. Now, talk about your fish stories. There's one. I don't know enough about a Japanese fighting fish to know whether this story could be true or not, but it sounds like a fish version of Alien. Anyway, here we go. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Angel Eyes story, truth or trash?
Yeah, Steven in Phoenix, Arizona. I was wondering, didn't the gastric juices, hurt the fish or anything?
It's a good question. What about it?
Well, didn't it hurt the fish? I mean, was the fish...
We'll ask. Angel Eyes, what about it?
No, it didn't appear to hurt him at all. He had some scales missing off him, and he had some white patches, but that was about it.
All right.
He's still alive.
I say it's truth.
You say it's truth. All right, you like that. All right, thank you. There's one says truth. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. What do you say, truth or trash?
Truth.
Truth? Really?
Just the way he told it.
Just the way he told it. All right, thank you. Amazing. Wildcard line, you're on the air. Hello, truth or trash?
I say it's true.
Truth? Really? Three in a row,
say
truth.
I've seen it happen.
Oh, come on.
Oh, well, not with a catfish, but I've seen the betas fight with sharks and...
But have you ever seen a fish eat its way out of another fish's belly?
Well, no, but I've seen fish eat other fish.
All right. Well, it must have been the way he told the story then. Okay, Angel Eyes, they say it is the truth.
It is absolutely the truth.
It is.
We used to call him Gigi, Gorgeous George. Now we call him Lucky, for darn lucky.
Well,
and now I didn't tell you everything. Afterwards, my son happens to he dissects things,
Yeah.
And he took it and dissected, he opened up the belly with a little hobby knife.
Yeah.
And most of its internal organs were gone.
Oh, man.
The fish had literally eaten his way out.
The little fish ate the big fish. Oh, man, that is an incredible story.
Yeah, and this little fish was no bigger than 4 inches. He was about 3 to 4 inches.
He must have been a little bigger after eating all of that.
He was small, but I'll tell you, he had some guts to him.
Well, that must be why they call him guts to him. Yeah, thank you. That must be why they call him a fighting fish.
Boy, how does one write to him without a computer? You forget some of us don't have computers, and I hate them because they don't work right, especially when you can't.
All right. What you do is there are libraries, there are friends, there are various ways. He gave out his email address. I thought a very gutsy thing to do. When you give out your email address, believe me, on this program, that has meaning.
and you're going to be busy for a while, maybe even a year. So just find anybody who's got a computer. They're awfully prolific now. In fact, you can see the world turning. And by that I mean businesses now are finding up to a quarter or even a third of their business is coming to them by the Internet. That's right. From a quarter to a third of a lot of businesses are done, and some are done exclusively on the Internet. So you got to wonder what's going to happen to the mall, huh? When everybody finally gets to the point where they can just do all their shopping from their chair. And it's pretty close right now. How's that going to impact all the malls across America, Canada? Here is an item that alleges to have been on eBay. In fact, I have the item number here back in September. It was item 164179899, if it's real. And basically, it was called I Will Kick Your Ass. Now, listen to this. Winning bid receives an ass-kicking from me personally. I'm 6 feet, weigh over 230 pounds. If you win this auction, I will personally come to your house and kick your ass. I guarantee I will not break any bones or kill you, nor will I use any weapons on you, but I will give you a good beating, and I will do this under 2 conditions. 1, you or anyone else does not press charges against me. After all, you bought the ass-kicking. 2, you do not fight back or attempt to physically harm me in any other manner. This is your ass getting kicked, not mine. Buyer provides round-trip plane ticket to the nearest airport as well as cab fare to your house and back. Now, if you're not close to the airport, you may provide me with a train ticket or other means of transportation. Do not pick me up, as I will be attacking you completely randomly. Buyer must also provide good, clear directions to their house, as well as any business expenses. If I need to stay in a hotel or buy food for myself during the trip, most likely I'll just fly in, kick her ass, then leave. Upon arrival, I will select a random time to come over and kick your ass. It may be when you are sleeping or showering, or any other time during the day or night when you are most vulnerable. During this beating, I may damage one or more of your household items. If I have to break glass to get into your, wait a minute, page 2, if I have house, I suppose, home, or knock over furniture if you attempt to run from me, this should be expected by you and covered by my expenses. If you are married or have children, I may choose to slap around your family a little, but only if I'm feeling particularly generous. They should be informed of this and expected as well. Bidding starts at 1 cent, but remember the winner must pay all expenses for my travel if they wish for me to come and kick their ass. I will accept check or money order, or you could just let me use your valid credit card for a few days and we'll call it even. So this is a real ad. It alleges, I mean, it's got all the normal stuff up here in eBay, so it was probably on there back in September. Now, I know when eBay finds this kind of thing, as well as there were people up there selling their souls, on eBay, and eBay also clamped down on that one as well. They should have. All right, shall we begin? Into the night we go. Wildcard line, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you this morning?
I'm okay.
Well, this is Dean calling from Tampa, Florida.
Hi, Dean.
Yes, sir. You had spoke of the Unbreakables.
That's right. I did so because I began getting calls. One of them might have been from you, Dean. Did you call about that?
No, sir, I didn't actually.
Okay. Well, some other people have, and they have been through so many tragedies that should have killed them so dead, and they just came out without a hair must, and that made me remember Unbreakable. And if you're unbreakable, then you're probably immortal. What's your situation?
Well, sir, in fact, we've spoken of this before. In fact, the first time I was aware of it was when I was 4 years old, and I'll make this brief as far as the timeline. But the first time I was aware of it, I was in Key West, Florida, and I saw so much of a vision, you might say, of almost an angelic kind of vision when I was 4 years old, and at the time I hadn't even seen a TV, so it was kind of one of those more of a surprising and wide awakening moments. Then a year later, I was given a brief movie, almost a time splice in space as I was looking at it, as I was sitting there swinging at a swing set in a private kindergarten, sir. And I can remember it was almost as real as just you and I talking here. It felt, it was that real, I could feel it. What happened then shortly thereafter, sir, when I was 7 years old, I can remember I was at a public pool, and a little boy that I was there watching with my family, he had actually wound up driving off into the deep end. Well, amongst all the people who were there, none of them saw him except for me. And with the assistance, you might say, of something other than I can't really put into mere words, I was, carried literally to that pool, put into the pool to save this little boy's life. And as I remember going down, I can remember feeling the presence of something else besides myself and this child in the pool.
Oh, that's odd. Where were you physically at the time? Were you at poolside?
Actually, I was sitting next to poolside, and when he dropped into the pool, he just walked out a little children's pool, and it was back in the 70s when people didn't realize that you shouldn't put the child's pool next to the deep end.
All right.
And I can remember, and it was a slow-motion movie. I can see it as real as today. And this
so something put you in there.
Yes, sir, exactly. And then suddenly the last thing I remember is I was going down, because I can remember lifting him up, but as I was going down, something else was reaching below. And at that time, it was just me and the little boy in the water. And yet shortly thereafter, it was 6 months later, sir, that I can remember I was swimming out on a rocky reef, and this was in the same part of Florida. And my father and another friend of his were out. They were scuba diving, and at the time, sir, I was the man from Atlantis. I lived in the water. I loved it. I remember going off about 100 yards off the water, and suddenly I remember just feeling a fear, sir, that I've never felt before in the water. Suddenly I was seized, and I just remember dropping straight like a rock. And the last thing I see is something almost light, almost something reaching down towards me. And at the time, there was nobody around. And the next thing I remember, I'm laying there on the beach, and I'm like literally 100 yards away from where I was, and I'm just laying there going.
All right. So in a way, then, you're thinking you are unbreakable, but by virtue of something that's watching over you?
Yes, sir. And in fact, I'll make this brief by saying that I had a couple other experiences later on in life where literally I saw the people that were watching me. In fact, one night as I spoke to you about a story, and I remember, and I know a lot of callers or listeners to your show that have listened to your Ghost to Ghost story.
Yes.
I told you the story of Clarity.
Oh, yes, I recall.
Yes, sir. Well, that story.
All right, well, that's a whole different
exactly.
area, though. But you really think, though, that those same forces...
I do, sir. And I think a lot more people, and then they truly realize have people like that around them. And I think we're all surrounded by people either from our own past or from people that are perhaps, goes like the old haunted house theory. I think there are many levels of awareness and actually where we are as far as different existence of life. And I think we all kind of bump into them. And I think the invisible friends of children are a lot of times they're the people that are wandering around here perhaps before they make it to the next side.
That may well be. Thank you very much. And I'm sure there are many who feel that way, as though they are unbreakable, not by virtue of the fact that they're actually unbreakable, but by virtue of the fact that something or somebody is watching over them. And it may be true. It really may be true. I sometimes there is no other way to, account for the fact that people walk away from things that are totally impossible to walk away from. In fact, we had a car crash here in Pahrump recently, and all that was left of this automobile that hit a pole doing, like 70 or 80 or whatever the speed was, and there was nothing left. No, nothing left of the car. It was just it was like when you were a kid and played with aluminum and you just crushed it all up. That's how it was. And yet both of these men survived impossibly, absolutely impossible. And then this, Art. A woman should be able to walk down the street safely, nude, if she so chooses, discounting the reactions of the local police. But I get the feeling that some of the really rabid prosecutors of these sexual harassment cases feel that she should be able to do the same without anyone, read here, men, even looking or taking notice. That is just not realistic. While she should be free from assault, physical and verbal, people are just naturally going to look, maybe even stare. Some might even take vocal notice as opposed to propositioning her, but I guess it's all the same to a feminazi. Do you think the feminazis would be nearly as offended if they were to be leered at by a lesbian? or if they just knew which ladies they walked by were lesbian and the unpure thoughts that we're having. Jim in Tupelo, Mississippi. Well, basically, Jim, I really do agree with you. And I'm sorry about what's happening between men and women in this country. I know it makes me sound like an old fogey, but I surely do miss the good old days when man could look at a woman, and maybe even, if he's out there on a construction site or something, give a big wolf whistle at her without her going to court and taking everything he has. Or without him getting into great trouble. I mean, is that so bad? I guess the women would say yes. Yes, it's horrible being regarded this way. Well, I just don't. I guess I'm too old. I'm never going to change. I'm never going to regard it as horrible. And I, frankly, at the risk of ending up in court or something, will probably keep looking until the day I die.
About 3 or 4 years ago, my wife and I were in Mexico, and we went out somewhere to, we went out to dinner, and when we got back to the hotel, we realized that everything had been, while we were out, some thieves had come into the hotel room, and they had ransacked the place and essentially taken everything of any value.
Sure.
Except our camera.
They left your camera?
They left our camera.
Now that's weird already.
Well, we couldn't figure out why the devil, they took traveler's checks, they took my watch, they took a lot of my wife's jewelry.
I've got you. Everything but the camera.
Everything of value, but left our camera. And it was a fairly expensive camera. It was a Canon with an expensive lens.
All right.
Anyway, we didn't think much of. Well, we were surprised. We didn't think a lot of it. Came back and reported the loss to the insurance company. Waited for the money to come, and didn't think a lot of it. And then what we did was we noticed that. The camera or the film was at the end, so we thought we'd had a few pictures left. It was like it was a 24 exposure roll, and we thought, oh gosh, there's
sure. So
we thought we were on like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
So the whole roll was shot. So took it in, had it developed, got the pictures back, started flipping through them, and I hope this doesn't gross anyone out, but. We started flipping through the pictures, and to our horror, at the end of the film, last couple of pictures, the thieves, when they came in the hotel room, they had taken pictures of each other, sticking our toothbrushes in their rear ends.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's that's absolutely disgusting.
Holding the brushes up with rims on their faces. It was like a series of sequences.
John, that's horrible. However, it is panel worthy. Oh man, that is disgusting. I presume the toothbrushes were left in the room, right?
We had been using them ever since.
Oh, John. Oh, John. Well, I almost hate to even ask, and I hope to hell it's not true, but let's find out. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. John's disgusting toothbrush story. What do you think, truth or trash?
I got a true story for you.
No, we're not taking stories, sir. That story, truth or trash?
That's true.
Oh, you think it's true? All right. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. John's story, the horrible toothbrush story, truth or trash?
It's trash. It's urban legend. It was in this month's Playboy with a bunch of others.
Really?
Yeah, an article on urban legend.
Wild card line, you're on the air. Truth or trash?
I think it's a bunch of crap.
Bunch of... West of the Rockies, you're on the air. John's horrible... Whoops, would have been. Wild card line, you're on the air. Uh-oh. My machine has gone kafooey on me. Oh, no. What do I do now? Oh, no. Now, see, I've got him on one, so I can't use the other. I've got a problem here. Let me see if I can get this sucker to work. No, see, I'm not going to be able to get it to work. All right, well, we're never going to get a panel rendering because I'm going to have to reset this little monster. Well, this is radio. What the hell? I'll just go down and reset it right now. What do I care? We'll push stuff aside here and we'll pull this off, and it will reset, and then it will work. So let's put it back on. And I've got to get a rendering on this. All right, let's try it. West of the Rockies, John's story, truth or trash?
Yeah, this Dan Gardino. I think it's true because it's so weird.
It is about the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Also, the most disgusting. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. John's horrible toothbrush story, truth or trash?
Oh, it's too sick of a thought. I'm going to say trash.
Trash. All right. It's something you would not hope to be true.
No.
All right. John, they say it is trash. It's close, but they say trash. What do you say?
Urban myth. Absolute trash.
Thank God. You got that out of Playboy, did you?
No. Actually, a friend of mine told me that had happened to some friends of his, and then I thought the story was so absolutely hilarious. I told it to a couple of other people, and they said, and everybody knew someone who said that had happened to them in Tijuana or in Baja, or somebody even told me it had happened to them in Detroit.
All right, my friend. Thank you. I'm
story,
ever so glad that it is absolute trash. I am not going to get over that toothbrush story for some time to come, I'm afraid.